Hello friends, this is Allison Okamitsu from nicepeoplestamp.com, and today I've got a really fun Christmas card to share with you using a very non-traditional color combination as well as some fun background techniques that I'm really excited to show you. So I am going to get started and I hope that you enjoy. So first I have my card base, and this is the Stampin' Up! Thick Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to create this fun inside. So I am going to stamp using the Every Good Wish stamp set. So this is brand new from the Stampin' Up! Catalog, so I'm using that one today. And I've got my Lemon Lime Twist ink pad. And I'm just going to ink up this big Be Merry stamp because I'm going to use just the edge here for some fun watermarking, like a watercolor look. So I'll just use that along the edge, just like that. And then there's also this fun splatter stamp in that same stamp set. So I'm just going to add that along. All right, so that was my Lemon Lime Twist. And then I've got my basic black archival ink and this sentiment, wishing you the joy of family, the happiness of friends, and the love of Christmas. So I'm just going to add that one right on the inside of my card, just in the corner there. All right. So that is the inside of my card taken care of. I'm going to leave this to the side to dry, and then let's talk about the front. There is a lot going on here and it is going to be so fun to create. So I have a piece of watercolor paper here, and I'm going to show you how to make this fun background. So I am going to keep a piece of paper towel on hand. I like to use that when I'm cleaning off my aqua painter. So again, I've got an aqua painter here with filled with water, and I'm going to use the colors Emerald Envy, Melon Mambo, and Lemon Lime Twist. So I'm just going to get some ink in the lid of the ink pad. So I just give the ink pad a little squish and open it up, and there's some ink right in the lid there. All right. So I want to sort of make this a controlled watercolor in the background because I don't want my colors to mix too much. So how I like to do that, let me just clean off my aqua painter from my last project. So how I like to do that is just by adding plain water to my cardstock and then picking up the color that I want and adding it in. So because I've created that pool of water first, I'm not going to have too much bleeding between colors until I get them sort of close. So then I'll just give it a little wipe on my paper towel. Let's add some of that Lemon Lime Twist over here. So just add water first and then dab in your color. Okay, loving that so far. So then I'll just, again, just sort of clean off my aqua painter, and then I want to go in with some of the Emerald Envy. So I'm just going to wet close to but not touching entirely. It's okay if it bleeds a little. If it's a bit too much for you, just go in and use your paper towel, but you just don't want it to touch at every point, okay? A few points is fine. And then make a big section here for that Emerald Envy, and then go in and add that color. So I'm just really picking up the color with my aqua painter. I'm not really moving it around too much. I'm letting that pool of water that I have on my watercolor paper be sort of the catalyst for the ink moving around. Okay, so when I want them to touch and sort of blend, I'll just take my aqua painter and pull it through. I would like a little bit more down here, so I'll just add in and then maybe go like that. So it's a little bit more controlled by adding the water first and just in sections rather than doing a watercolor wash across the whole thing, okay? So you can just add more color anywhere you like. And then let's go in with our Melon Mambo. So we have this beautiful bright pink. Again, I'm just adding some water to my page where I would like my Melon Mambo to come in. All right. So you can just go in and then touch your aqua painter to those areas. I don't actually think I added water up there, so we'll just add a bit more. There we go. And if your areas are getting a little bit dry, just go in and add a little bit more water. You can even add your water and your color sort of at the same time. It just won't have that really bleed sort of look like that. Okay, so I am loving how this is looking. I'm just gonna add some more and then maybe touch into that lemon lime so they sort of start to go together. So I think that is looking pretty good, and we are ready for the next stage. What I do need to do is use my heat tool and let this, or get this watercolor to dry. So let me grab my heat tool and I'm just going to heat that up. All right, now that my piece of watercolor paper is dry, it's time to add in an additional layer, and we're going to do that with some stamping. So remember that splatter stamp? I'm just going to grab my ink colors. So this is Lemon Lime Twist, and just add some splatters sort of in the same areas where I have that color. So that was my Lemon Lime Twist. Give my stamp a little bit of a clean. Then I'm going to go into my Emerald Envy. Add a little bit of that. And it doesn't need to be super perfect. Like I have my Emerald Envy going into my Melon Mambo, and I really like the look of that. So clean off your stamp again. And then we'll go in with the Melon Mambo. So we'll add some of those fun splatters. So loving it. Okay. So we're going to, again, build on what we have and create an additional layer on top of this. And we're going to do that with embossing paste. So this is embossing paste. It comes in this tub. I'm also going to use one of the Pattern Party decorative masks. And I'm just going to place that on top. If you feel like you'd like to add some washi tape to keep it in place, feel free, but I quite like the messy look of embossing paste, so I'm not worried if my mask even moves a little bit. So just take the lid off and grab a little bit out. It is white, so it'll be subtle. And I'm just going to add in some very random pieces here across my background. So I don't want it to completely cover. I just want some random parts. So then when I lift my mask off, I hope you can see that it's some beautiful texture on my watercolor paper. So after you use your embossing paste, you're going to want to make sure you put your lid on tight and clean your tools well. It does dry pretty fast, which is great for, you know, getting our project to move along. All right, so let's set this aside while I work on some other elements of the card. We'll just let that embossing paste dry. And I'm going to remove my grid paper so I can do some work with the Big Shot. And I want to stamp this Be Merry. And I just have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to use my basic black ink and the big Be Merry stamp. So make sure you ink this one up really well and just stamp it down. And I'm also going to stamp that same sentiment we used on the inside of the card using Emerald Envy ink onto another scrap of Whisper White cardstock, because I'm going to cut out part of that for the little friends right there. So I'll actually do that first while my black ink dries. So I just want the word friends to go on the front. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and cut around to get the portion of the sentiment that I want. So we just have that little bit there. All right, so let's bring in the big shot. I'm going to use the stitched shape framelits to die cut this fun circle. So I'm just using the second largest of those dies. And I'll just run this through. So you can see right through where you want to position your die. And then we'll just roll it right on through. And then you can just pop it right out. And you can see that fun stitched edge. It's really quite beautiful. All right. So it's time to finish assembling our beautiful card. So we have our sentiments for the front. Our inside of our card will have dried, so we're going to work on building up the front. So we have our embossing paste and watercolor, and this is pretty much dry. There's a few sections that are a little bit tacky, but I feel comfortable putting my card together. I have some basic black baker's twine, and I like to wrap my twine around a couple times. And for myself, I find it easier if I tie in a double knot and then tie my bow. It's just the way that I learned how to do it, and now it's the way that I find the easiest. So I'll just add my bow. And then I like to just adjust on my card front my bow. All right, and then I can just snip the tails. Okay, so we have that, and now I'm going to add my Be Merry. We're going to move this up a little bit. We want this in the center of our watercolor piece, so move that up. So I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of my stitched shape. There we go. And we can add that right onto the front of there. And then we have that little piece that says Friends, and I'm just going to add 1 or 2 of the mini dimensionals to go on the back. I love these little itty bitty ones. They're sort of perfect for these small jobs. All right. That on. Okay, and then we're going to add dimensionals all over the back side of here and place this on the front. And then our card is done. So adding that fun layer of watercolor with another layer of stamping, followed by a layer of embossing paste, really gives the background of your card a lot of dimension. And then stamping your sentiment in a dark, rich color like basic black really makes it pop on that background. So you'll just add this to the front of your card, just like that. So there you have it. There is our fun, non-traditional colored Christmas card. If you want to add some fun sequins, which I did here, I have the iridescent sequin assortment, and I just took out the ones that were green. So I just add a few dots with my multi-purpose liquid glue. And then I like to just use the end of my scissors to pick up the colors I like. I use them kind of just like tweezers. If you have a pair of tweezers you like, you can use those too. And then just drop them on. If you want to leave the sequins off, that's up to you. I really like the look that they give. So you can add on as many or as few as you like, or leave them off entirely. It's definitely your choice. But I do like that fun additional bling there, so you can see them all added on that one there. All right, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I've really enjoyed sharing this card with you, and I hope you love it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.